Hi, the last tutorial we covered about the exception propagation. Now we are going to see Java throws keyword. So where we can use the throws keyword. I think we covered about the how we can use the throw keyword. Now we are going to cover the throws keyword. So in Java, it is used to the throws keyword. It is used to declare an exception. So it gives an information to the programmer that there is maybe occurs an exception. So what is happening? It gives them programmers to just it give the identification. So in future you will get any exception. Just that's the reason. Just throws your exception. If you maybe get any exception, we will take care of it. We will handle that exception, particular exception. So you can execute your program normal and the flow of execution is normal and except and once we handle the exception, so our flow of execution is normal. So that's what I'm going to cover. So I'm going to write the syntax for just see the syntax for the throws. So here I'm going to write a return statement and a method name and throws and exception name. This is called what we can call this is the syntax for the throws keyword. This is the return statement. In return statement, what we are going to write, like if you are returning any string or void, these are the return statement. And method name, just now we took the m1 slash n1. So these are comes under the method name, which ROWS throws. And what is the exception name? So we are going to take exception name as a exception only, exception, or else we can take null pointer exception. So this is what the syntax for the throws throws keyword. So I think you understand, but how we can declare our throws keyword. So I am going to write one sample program, and you are able to understand what is the issue. And one more like important concept is which exceptions should be declared. So we know that we have a two types of exception in Java. So first one is the checked exception and second one is the unchecked exception. So by using throws keyword, which type of exception we can declare? So the answer is checked exception only, because unchecked exception under your control. So correct your code. Unchecked exception. See, an unchecked exception, most of the times we are only write the program and we will handle it, we will take care of handle the code. So in checked exception, that is already provided by the Java Sun people. So we need to use it to throws the particular class. So that's the reason we are using the throws keyword only checked exception, and unchecked exception we are unable to use. So I think you know the advantages of the throws keyword is now checked exception can be propagated forward in call start. See, you know the propagation. Just now we covered the propagation, and the advantage is checked exception can be propagated. What is the propagated means? We will find all information, the flow of the execution. This is called the call start, and it provides the information and it provides the information to the caller of the method about the exception related details. So I think this is what advantages, and I'm going to write a sample code for the throws keyword. So just have a look once. What I'm going to write here. So I'm going to delete this part. Just I'm going to write the program called we have a method. I'm going to take the same method M1. Here I'm going to use the throws. What I'm doing is IO exception. Sorry, IO exception. So this is what I'm going to write in M1. So might be you will confusion about this part. So I am removing that part. See, I am using the M1 method. Inside the M1 method, I am going to use the throw. So now I'm using the throws. So THROW throw new of IO exception. So I go inside the main method. Sorry, M1 method. I'm using to throw the new IO exception. So in that I'm giving the message called device error. So this is the message I'm going to provide inside the M1 method. Again what I'm going to write. So again I'm going to check the see how we can call the M1 method. From N1 method I am going to call. So I am going to write N1 method. Once inside the N1 method I am going to call M1. So this is what I am doing, and the same thing I am going to write. So like our previous example only, like P1 I am going to provide the method. Inside the P1 I am going to use the try catch block. In try block I'm going to call the N1 method. In catch block I'm going to use the exception. So if you are not using the particular exception, you can provide the super class exception that is called exception. It take care of it. So I given the X capital. So this is what I'm going to write. Here I'm going to print the sum statement. PRINTLN. So I'm giving the reference of T. So I cover in method. I'm going to call the same P1 method normal flow. So now what is happening? So if you are throwing the exception and you can throws, like you can use the throws keyword. You can use the throws keyword to declare the an exception. Already just now I covered the exception. Throws keyword it is used to declare an exception. Which type of exception we are going to throw? So here we are throwing an exception. So what kind of exception you are throwing? This is called IO type exception. If you are not providing the like same type, you can provide the super type that is called exception. If you are providing the exception, so it will execute the program. That will show you later. Now I'm going to throw the IO exception only. Once you're throwing an IO exception, so say I think might be we'll get some exception. I am going to save this example, test example. So I am coming to test example.java. Something we are showing an exception. So somewhere else we did the same mistake. Again we did not close the our curly braces. So again I am going to close. Already I closed the curly braces. Just like it. So something is showing. See. So this is what we are expecting. This is what we are expecting. What it's going to throw. So what is happening here? Just have a look. It's throwing the new two errors. What is happening here? So void M1 throws IO exception. Class IO exception, test exception. Throw new IO exception. Something it's showing. Cannot find the symbol. Cannot find the symbol it's showing. So, but we provide the same information only. We given the same, like we given the right information, but we are going to get an exception. So why we are getting an exception called? When you are throwing any method, you should throw the same exception into the sub methods also, like where it is. So this method also should throw same throws the same exception. That's what it's showing an exception. Like I'm going to throw this one also throws exception. So let's have look one again what is happening. Again we are getting an exception, something called something. Sorry, I mistake. Actually, I need to provide the like what we can say import statement. I need to provide. This is what we are getting an like error. Pivot java dot io dot. I'm going to give the same package. So now I'm going to remove this one. Save. Just run the program. See what is happening here. Just look at it. The unreported exception. We find that unreported exception must be caught or must be declared as just shown at it's showing the M1. Why we got an exception? So why I'm going to provide this information. At submethod, just run our program. So have you find we did not get any out like error or exception right now? So this is what I am going to provide the information. When you are like when you are throwing an exception, you should throw the same exception to the subclass submethod. Then only the program will execute it. Now we find that same I throw in the M1 method. I'm throwing the M1 method. If you're not throwing it, just look at it. What happened? Just save, remove the M1 method. So if you remove this one, what will happen? Just find it. I'm going to rerun the program. Again, we are getting an exception. So have you looked once? So this is what we are going to like getting an exception call. When you are throwing the throws, this mainly uses the throws keyword only. If you are using to throw any exception, if you are not using the throw, it will not get an error exception. So might when you are using the throws, you should use the same exception for the both classes or both methods. So otherwise it will get like it will throw in this kind of exception, this kind of error. So now I am going to provide the some same information. We are able to like recompile. We did not find any exception. I am going to execute the program. Test exception. So we got an. So what is the issue? We are throwing an exception. So we receive the device error. This is what I am going to share. I think you understand what I'm going to explain in this tutorial. So we did not get any output. Now you can find here. Just you find simply execute the program. You did not get any error or exception. This is what I'm going to share. So and let's see one more example I'm going to share. And in that we have a two cases what we need to do. So the first case one is you card the exception, that is handle the exception using try catch, and you can declare the exception specifying the throws with a method. So without using the throw also, say if you are not using the throw, you can use it to like throws. So, but the issue is we are not using the and see in this method we are not using the try catch flag. So we are using the throws keyword. So here what we are doing, we are using the try catch block. So we did not throws. So that's what I'm going to use. Either use the try catch block or use the throws keyword. So to handle the exception, this is what I'm going to explain. So now we will see what is happening here. I'm going to write the one more class. So okay, yeah. Uh, I'm so just like I'm going to take the new class here. what I'm going to write class test example 2 to test exception 2. This is our class. Same I am going to use. That what we are going to do right now. So let's have a look. I'm going to take the one more class called example. So in that I'm going to write one method called m1. Right now I'm not throwing anything. Just I'm using the throw keyword, and here I'm using io.exception. Same as I'm giving device error I'm giving. So device error, after that I'm closing the same method. So now what I'm doing here is I'm go like let's do okay. So this is our main class. So in that what I'm doing here inside the main method, just remove the statement, use the try catch block. So we are using the try catch block in try. What I am doing, creating an exception or like example object. Example ex is equals to new example. I am going to use the example object, and I'm going to call the example like what is the method available in our example class, m1 method. So see, the m1 method is something is happened, like it's going to throw an exception. So that's the reason I took the m1 method inside the try catch block. So what is happening here, I am going to write some exception called exception only. In catch block I am going to write the exception. Here what exception e, I am going to print the same method. Okay, once the catch block is completed, I am going to write some rest of the code. Rest of the code I am going to write. So just look what is happening. I am not throwing anything right now. So this is for our main class. So save your main class as the test.name2 java c and paste in the class name dot java. Just check what is happening here. See, again we are getting an exception. What is showing? Error cannot find the symbol. I think we imported the no. Oh, okay. So the main issue is we are not importing. Import java dot io dot star. Why I am using the star? No need to write the all the classes. If you use the star, internally it's take care of the internally it's available. So again I'm compiling the code. Now you can find the what is happening here. When you are throwing an exception, so what is showing here? Same thing we are not, if you are not using the throws keyword, we are going to get an exception called this. So once you come to the M1 method, throws throws IO exception. Let's write compiler program. See, easily we compiled our program. This is what I am going to explain you. Without using the throws keyword, we cannot throw any exception. That's what I am going to use. So I think in previous, I think you will get the some confusion about the throws and throw keyword. But we use the throw keyword in try catch block. If you get any inside the try block, we throw the some exception to some other classes. So now we are using the method level. Whenever we are throwing the exception at method level, we need to provide the throws as well. So that's the reason. Just we already covered all those things. If you run our example, Java exception, test exception to see, we write only it's showing the device error and rest of the code. But we are like what we are doing, throwing an exception. So that's the reason we are getting this error. And after that, we wrote the some rest of the code with SOP statement. It executing and so one more case is available. We, we are going to use just declare the method in declare the exception in case two. Right now we use the case one because in case one we create by using the try catch block, we created an object of the example class and we execute the program. So now I'm going to use only method level declare the exception. So in case you declare the exception, if exception does not occur, the code will be executed fine. You know what we can say, if you declare any exception at method level, the method or the class which is not getting any the related exception, so that will not normally execute. It will not stop anywhere. It will execute normally. If you declare the exception and if the exception is occurred, what it will do, it throws an exception. It throws at runtime because throws does not handle the exception. So you know the logic. The throws keyword just is throws an exception. It will not throw the exception. Sorry, it will not handle the exception. Just it throws where it is available. The classes just it throws. So that's what we are going to see. Mm, What I'm going to write the same code without using the try catch back as well as we are not like so. Now we are what we are doing here is so come to our code. Yeah, so I'm removing this line as well as I'm removing these two lines. Oh, I'm removing these two lines. Now what I'm doing here is now what I'm here just I'm going to throw. I'm going to write this SOP statement. So inside the M1 method, inside the M1 method, this is called okay. Once a device operation, so I wrote the inside the M1 method. In the main method, see. So I am going to explain like explain something called so I am going to throw only at M1 method level. So what will happen? Might be we will get to some exception, but create an except example ex sorry ex is fine. New example. Okay. Now what I'm going to call example dot our M1 method. sorry, M1 method. So again write our program. So we will get some exception. So again we are going to get an exception. What is the exception? Same name. Unreported exception, IO exception must be caught or declared with thrown. So why again we are going to like getting an exception means. So in previous example we know that if the two methods are available or two classes are available, we throw the same exception. So here also we have one method is called the main method. In previous example, we did not raise the main method, like we did not throw the same exception at main method level. Why? Anyone know any idea? Mm, we did now we are using the throws to at main method level. So I will explain. So what I'm going to use the like compilation. We did not find any exception. So I am going to execute. So inside the M1 method is executed. So what is the issue? So in previous example, we used here try catch block. So when you are using the try catch block, no need not required to throws. So that's the reason we did not use the throws. Now we did not use any try catch block, so we are using the throws. So this is what the main advantage. Without using the throws, you cannot run any program. It gives the compile time error only. This is what I am going to explain throws keyword. Which scenario we can use the I think you covered all thing I explain everything and only one more step is available. I'm going to write the same. So the what is available, you know what is see what we are doing here. We are here already I like throws the IO exception. Here also I am going to throw the same exception. Inside the M1 method I am going to throw the same exception. I am going to throw inside the main M1 method. I am going to throw same exception. What is happening in previous example, we did not throw the same exception because the main method is handle now the main method is handle throws exception. So I am giving this some sorry, no, I am not giving any message, just I am giving the dots. So just check what is happening here. Again run compile our program. Unreachable statement, so why we got an exception means after throwing anything, you are unable to execute the same statement after that. So that once the like control is comes to this place, so it will goes to directly from here to IO exception. It will not execute the below this statement. So that's the reason we got a compile time error called something. What is showing unreachable statement. So I commented. I am going to call. I am going to compile one more time. So we did not get any exception right now. I am going to accept like execute the program. We will get the runtime exception. Just see. So see, we got a runtime exception call. What is happening here? Just have a look once. What is showing java.io.exception example a test example 2. We got an exception, runtime exception. We got it. We did not get any compile time exception when you are using the both. So what is the issue when you declare the method level as the throws keyword and as well as the method level throws keyword? So we not required to throw again. So if you are required to throw same exception, it will get a runtime exception. Just remove this one, you will get the. So I'm going to remove. I'm going to save the program. Again, we are going to rerun the program. What is happening here? Just check. Again, we are going to get an exception. Why? Because we did not handle any try catch blind. So that's the reason we are getting an exception. So that's what I'm okay. This is what our example where which scenario we can use the. So see the compilation successfully. The the compilation successful. So this is what I'm going to explain the throws keyword. So next topic what I'm going to explain is difference between throws and throws keyword. Where which scenario we can use, which scenario we can use the throws. So this is what our next topic. Thanks for watching.